So we're going to begin tonight, as we usually do, with a meditation. And I invite you to just sit as you're comfortable and closing your eyes if that is the way you usually practice. And allowing yourselves to arrive taking a deep breath. And closing your eyes is helpful, especially when there's a screen up there that is beguiling to look at. Taking a deep breath. Allowing the breath to go into the belly. And exhaling slowly. And a second long, deep inhale. And exhale. And now let us just move into a mindfulness practice with our breath, a natural breath. Returning to just a natural breath. Noticing this breath. Experiencing the inhale and the exhale. The touch sensation of the breath as you breathe in and breathe out. Noticing closely, what is the experience of this breath? Is it fast or slow? Deep or shallow? Smooth or a little jagged, maybe? What is your experience of this breath? Just noticing. Each breath, the new experience. No matter how often we've done it, how long we've done it, each breath is fresh. And now I invite you to do an exercise with me. Some of you have done this before. Imagining, if you will, envisioning that you are a newborn, just born as a baby, a few days old, not thinking about it, envisioning it. A newborn, you have no memories, no thoughts. You don't know your hands, your feet, your body. Exploring for yourself, what would this experience be as a newborn? Again, not thinking about it. Allowing your attention to rest in what that place might be. Is there a sense of inside or outside? Any sense of location? As a newborn, do you have any sense of size? Size of your body or size of anything else? What about time? Is there any sense of time? What about age or gender? Well, this exercise invites us to touch into what's most fundamental, primary. It's your own natural awareness. Noticing there's no sensation in it, nothing special or extraordinary. In fact, no feeling at all. Maybe we can notice that is familiar. It's intimate. This is our first knowing and our last knowing. Now I invite you to turn your attention now away from this experience of awareness. Turn your attention to the sensations in your body. I mean the sensations right now that you are experiencing. Noticing if there's any area in your body that's uncomfortable, or maybe even pain. And if there is, what is the quality of that discomfort or pain? Minor, maybe? Maybe kind of middling? Perhaps fairly intense? Just noticing right now the nature, the quality of it. And now, if you will, why not shift your attention and notice any area in your body that is completely at ease, that is easeful. No pain, no discomfort, just relaxed, at rest. And now, why not direct your attention to your feet and just notice the experience of your feet right now, touching the floor, or if at home and maybe you're sitting cross-legged or in some other position, maybe your feet are resting on a cushion. Whatever is true right now, noticing what's the experience of your feet. Maybe you have shoes and socks on, or perhaps barefoot. Noticing the pressure of the shoes and the socks, slight pressure, maybe comfortable kind of unfolding. The experience of your feet on the floor. And what about your hands and your arms? What is their experience in this moment? And your shoulders? Is there any sense of tension in your shoulders, in your hands or arms? Are they relaxed, at ease? And now I'm inviting you again to switch your attention back, stepping back with your attention, and focus on the experience again of being a newborn. As though this were your first moments or day in the world. Before you were aware of your hands and your feet and body sensations. Before you were aware of your breath. No morning, noon, or night. Just presence. Getting in touch with presence. And right now, for body sensation or thought, or intrude and take your attention for a moment, just gently step back from that sensation or that thought and come back again into the experience of being newborn. The pure awareness of the newborn is always present. It's our first sensation, our first state, and our last, but it's always present in between. It is always there. Even when the content of your experience, like on body sensations or thoughts, even when they seem to obscure, the awareness of the newborn that you first felt and that you will likely last feel as you depart. It's there every moment. Just awareness. And now again, turning your attention, this time, if you will, to your thoughts. to thoughts and thought fragments that are usually passing through our minds, sometimes one thought after another, and sometimes hordes of thoughts seem to be charging in. They seem to come gratuitously, all on their own. Like we don't think them, but they're thinking us. And so often we choose to follow a thought, to go with it down the road, wherever it is taking us. And of course, we all know that's important and necessary in life. Just noticing now the flow of thoughts as they arise and allowing them to pass away. As you watch the flow of thoughts, notice if and when you get caught up with the content of any particular thought. And if you are, for now, just allowing yourself to pull out of it and notice instead the flow. And now, once again, if you will, step back, step out of the attention to your thoughts and the flow, and focus again on the experience of being newborn, a new arrival on this planet. Before you were aware of thoughts, before they had content, and before you even recognized that there was such a thing as thinking, experiencing natural awareness directly, wordlessly, as a newborn baby would. condition of utter simplicity. Before our ever so sophisticated minds come in. It is wordless. And yet, if we were to put words to it, we could call it wholeness or the undivided, the indivisible. It has no parts. No separation. There's an absence of otherness. An absence of otherness. We can call this love. Universal love, not a feeling, not an emotion, but just a wholeness, just as it is. And for each of us as seeming individual beings, it is our essence. We are that love. Undivided awareness, always. And so, friends, this was a meditation with pure awareness, hoping that it perhaps illustrated for you directly, was an experience for you directly of how the content of experience, whether it's a body sensations or breath, our thoughts, our emotions, during our days, tends to obscure direct experience of awareness. We get caught up in the content of our emotions, of our thoughts, of what we're doing, and we need to. That's not to say that's bad. That needs to happen. But what we don't usually recognize is that all along, this pure awareness is there. You can't not experience it. You can't not have it. You may not notice it, but it's going to be there anyway. Why? Because it's you. It's your nature. And our mind wants to get into this, oh no, couldn't be me. I don't think of that. Yes, it is you. When we simply allow what is to express And even when we don't allow what is to express and we're caught up with whatever, it's still there. It never, ever leaves. So I want to say, if in this meditation you felt, oh, I didn't get it, like, nope, I didn't connect, not to worry, because you can do it any time in your entire life. It's always there. So I hope that is like encouraging to know that, right now it seems like, wow, this is beyond me. Don't worry. Sooner or later, if you wish, you can just step back and step into it. In a minute, we're going to be watching a video, a short video, a YouTube clip from about Ram Dass, by Ram Dass, in fact. I think do you know Ram Dass? Everybody know Ram Dass, who Ram Dass is? I'll tell you, since not everybody's shaking their heads. Yes. Ram Dass was a spiritual teacher. He was very well known and made quite a big splash in the late 1960s and early 70s because he was a pioneer in both Eastern thought and hallucinogenics. And I won't go into the whole story of that. He became, over the years, a very beloved teacher and very, very well known. And he wrote a book, which is now classic. Actually, he's written more than one, but his classic book is called Be Here Now. And if you haven't read it, I highly recommend it. It is just really gripping. It's a story of his I guess you can call them adventures, his meeting with his guru, who was in India, and well worth reading. Ram Dass died in 2019, just a few years ago. The video that we're going to be watching was a talk that he gave, and he probably gave it in the 1980s, probably. I think you're going to hear how relevant it is to today. What else? Oh, it's his voice on the video, by the way. He's giving the talk, and it's his voice. It's not somebody else. Okay, so yeah, Brianna and friend, if you would put it. Thank you.
One of the things that has changed in me is that I have begun to fall in love with the universe. And it's hard to talk about that. Let me read to you two poems. This first one is by a Buddhist monk named Thich Nhat Hanh. Very beautiful monk. I won't read the whole thing. I am a frog swimming happily in the clear water of a pond. I am also the grass snake who, approaching in silence, feeds itself on the frog. I am the child in Uganda, all skin and bones, my legs as thin as bamboo sticks. I am also the merchant of arms, selling deadly weapons to Uganda. I am the 12-year-old girl, refugee in a small boat, who throws herself into the ocean after being raped by a sea pirate. I am also the pirate, my heart not yet capable of seeing and loving. My joy is like spring, so warm it makes flowers bloom in all walks of life. My pain is like a river of tears, so full it fills up all the four oceans. Please call me by my correct names, so that I can hear at the same time all my cries and my laughs, so that I could see that my joy and pain are but one. Please call me by my correct names, so that I could become awake, so the door of my heart be left open, the door of compassion. Well, my names. The quality of of love has no boundaries. There's no other in love. There is us at one level, and at the deeper level there is only I. We are merged in love. Call me by my true names. The other quote is still in dualism, but it's on the edge. It's a quote from the poet Kabir. Since the day when I met with my Lord, there has been no end to the sport of our love. I see with eyes open and smile, and behold his beauty everywhere. I utter his name, and whatever I see, it reminds me of him. Whatever I do, it becomes his worship. Wherever I go, I move round him. All I achieve is his service. When I lie down, I lie prostrate at his feet. Whether I rise or sit down, I can never forget him, for the rhythm of his music beats in my ears. Now, in the states of awareness, where you see there is one, there are no boundaries, there are no separatenesses. And then as that one starts to come into form as separate, you look at the separate forms it has taken with a quality of awe and wonder when you're looking from there. When you're looking from the point between what's called the form and the formless, right at the edge, and you look down at form, or out at form, or up at form, there's no direction. You look at form, you see the absolute all-full beauty of form. And you see, as Plato talks about it, the law that you appreciate as what you call God oftentimes, is just all form in law. It's all lawfully related. It's called the Tao in Chinese, the way of things. It's the way in which all forms are related to all other forms. And you look and you see it's perfect. You can look in physics or chemistry or astronomy or astrology or psychology or music, or wherever you look, you begin to see that forms are related all to all other forms, all in lawful ways. It gets interesting when you get down to quarks and things like that, but everything above that, it looks pretty well. And there's an interesting term when you look at the way in which those things are all lawfully related. You say, it's perfect. My guru in India used to say to me, Ramdas, don't you see it's all perfect? I'd say, perfect? Perfect? What about Bangladesh? What about Africa? What about tyranny? What about violence? What about greed? Oh, don't you see it's all perfect? Can't you step back for a moment from your humanity to see the way of things? Can't you see the way it's all lawfully unfolding? The question is, have you the courage to see what you're seeing? Or does it seem to take away your humanity? Because when you look and you say it's all perfect, the problem is it's so impersonal. Somebody falls down in front of you and you say, karma. See, there's no warmth to it. But if you come down into your human heart, the pain is unbearable. Because there is so much suffering everywhere. And you look and there's rape, and there's child molestation, and there's ecological insensitivity, and there's tyranny, and there's terrorism, and there's... Which one is it first? Starvation, the homeless? Who is it? Where does your heart go first? And what most people do is they close their heart down and they armor it to protect it from the immense amount of suffering. They armor it with their mind, with thoughts, with a web or a net or a veil of thought that armors the heart so that they don't get hurt and overwhelmed by the immensity of the suffering. Because you know how when your child hurts, you give anything. And the quality of the heart is The heart has no boundaries. My heart goes out to you is the expression. The heart will give. The heart doesn't know boundaries. The mind knows the boundaries. The heart says, here, take my automobile, take my apartment, take anything. And the mind saying, now wait a minute, be reasonable. And there's an interesting dialogue that goes on within us. And so this armoring protects not only our hearts from the amount of suffering outside, but it protects our separateness from our heart, which would give away our separateness. It would give away everything. Give away everything. And so the interesting question is, how do you keep your heart open and happy? And what does it mean to be in love with the world? And what does it mean in action? What do you do? The answer lies again in the statement, at least the answer that I have found thus far, that there's nowhere to stand. That if you stand only in your humanity, it's unbearable. If you stand in the area of perfection, it's impersonal. If you get them both going at once, it is the root of what I understand true compassion to be about. It is something where, unlike Job, which questions God at some point, you do what you do because your human heart hurts and you want to do what you can to relieve the suffering of the people you love. And at the same moment, there's not a flicker in you as to it is all as it must be. I work with AIDS patients now. I do a lot of work with AIDS patients. And a fellow calls me and he just found he has AIDS, and he was a law student and all of his plans have now gone awry and his whole life has changed and he's frightened, and my heart, my human heart, cries with him. And so he hears there's a fellow human heart that's empathizing with him. At the same moment, there's another part of me that's just looking at the universe as it is and saying, yes, and this too, and this too. He has a new curriculum now. This is heavy work for his soul. He's going to do new work in terms of awakening. Because when you look at individuals from the level of soul or awareness or spiritual entityness, you see the entire earth plane and all the personality and all the physical things and the death and sickness and illness and all of it. You see it all as the curriculum of the soul. When you look at it from the personality point of view, it's horrible. And it seems so unfair and suffering seems so cruel. And for you to hear the term, suffering is grace, not that you would ask for it, but that when it comes your way, you work with it. You work with it as part of your spiritual journey of awakening. Because the only reason anybody suffers is because of the clinging of their mind. Starvation is just a certain set of pains. The fact that you suffer when you starve is because of the mind's identification with the separateness. When Ramana Maharshi, the great saint in India, was dying, and his devotees were crying, Bhagwan, Bhagwan, don't leave us, don't leave us. He said, don't be silly, where could I go? I'm just dropping my body, it's no big deal. When you have that level of awareness, then the whole meaning of suffering changes. And all suffering is showing you is where your mind is still clinging. To pull your awareness back from the time-binding nature of mind allows you to be fully here. To be fully here, am I happy? Yes, I'm happy. I'm happy because it's spring. I'm happy because people are having babies that are bringing joy into their lives. I'm happy because flowers are blooming. I'm happy for a myriad reasons. Am I sad? Yes, I am sad. Because every 45 seconds, a child is dying needlessly from hunger. I'm sad because there is so much inhumanity among humans, to each other and to other species. I am sad because there's so much fear. In this moment, I am both happy and sad. As long as you try to stay in the world of polarities, happy, sad, dark, light, positive, negative, good, evil, you cannot experience the richness of the moment. The richness of the moment is the one that lies just behind the two.
Thank you, Brianna. So, walking each other home, that's what this is all about, isn't it? And maybe often the feeling, we don't feel sometimes like we're at home. How do you keep your heart open in hell? I think this video is so meaningful, speaks to us so deeply these days. But it was just as meaningful back in the 1980s when he said it. And before that, for those who are thinking. So what I'm going to do is say a few words about this video and about this set of circumstances. And then most of the time, I hope we will have time for conversation. And I hope that you will speak up. There's so much that I think this video raises and that we've all been thinking about. So my comments, I think Ram Dass's comments, observations boil down to two major responses to that question that I think we're asking ourselves too in one form or another. How do I keep my heart open in hell? And maybe those aren't exactly our words, but I think we're all asking. And Ram Dass comes with two, I think, universal, timeless responses. And the first one, he talks about, and he uses, I guess it was his guru's word, the Tao. We use the same term here. We don't say Tao often, but we do say pure awareness, which we did in this meditation. We talk about consciousness, Buddha nature, true nature, newborn nature. All of them are the same thing, different words. Same thing that actually is wordless. No words you can really put to it. So it can be confusing. And I think I and anybody else who talks about this, we always say, there are all these different terms. Don't get caught up in the terms. One you may like, others you don't. It's all the same thing, and it's wordless. It's wordless. Ram Dass's guru called it perfection. And in the video, as you saw, Ram Dass said, perfection? How can you call this perfection? And maybe many of you had that same kind of reaction. Perfection, it certainly seems like anything but perfection. And I'm hoping that we here have an insight to what that means, and just not a knee-jerk kind of reaction like, what in the heck does that mean, perfection? It looks like it's misery and hell. It's a hot button issue. His guru said, step back from your humanity and you will see its perfection. What did he mean by stepping back from your humanity? He meant, for a moment, letting go of all those things that we are very naturally as human beings identified with. And that is our breath, our body sensations, our thoughts, our emotions, the things we love, the things we don't love, our opinions, beliefs, all of those things. That's our humanity. That's what we identify with. And as Guru said, for a moment, step back. And when you step back, and this is what we were doing in the meditation, when you step back and you come into what is already present, even when you're overwhelmed or engrossed, entangled with the content of your experience, is already present. Stepping back enables you to see what's already there. And that's all that his Guru was asking. But it's a huge ask. Why? Because in our culture in particular, and I'm not just saying here in this country, I mean global culture, of course, we think that we give priority to the content of our experience, and we have very strong values about what's desirable, what's undesirable, what we want to or should follow, what we often don't follow, what others follow and are wrong, what follow and are right. We've got all kinds of opinions. His Guru says, whoa, for a moment, drop that. All of that. It's not a matter of right or wrong. Just step back. There's something else that is to be understood and directly experienced. That's what he meant by stepping back from your humanity. Now, I will say that most people in the world don't get to this because we, as the human species, are involved with the content of our experience. And also, however, I think that we, as mindfulness practitioners, have a little bit more of a view or understanding naturally of all this because our practice is to notice our experience, right? Our experience with our breath, our experience with our body sensations, our experience with thoughts or emotions. And we do notice sooner or later, and often very soon, hey, these things all pass. They come, they go, nothing sticks. And this is a real opening in terms of our awareness. But it's not the final. Erase the word final. I don't want to say final. There's another opening that's more fundamental. Because when we are involved with our focus on our breath, our body, our thoughts, our emotions, we are still involved with the content of our experience. And that tends to take up our attention, may take up our whole attention. The invitation is, and this is what Ram Dass was getting at, turn around, notice the noticer, notice the experiencer. You see, when we are involved with the content of our experience, that means automatically we are living in the world of separation. I don't mean our beliefs. Our beliefs, we all believe, I think, probably in oneness and expansiveness and compassion. We know these things are wonderful, but we, by experiencing anything, become subject, and that which we are experience, whether it's our breath or emotion, another person, another nation, whatever, becomes the object of our attention. So the, shall I say, deeper invitation is turn around from whatever you're experiencing for the moment and turn your attention around. That's what his Guru said. Step back from your humanity. Step back, turn your attention around, and notice who is watching, what is watching. And the answer is so simple. It's right there. I hope some of you, or maybe everybody or whatever, experienced it. It's just this awareness, something that has no words, no thoughts, no feeling, something you know intimately, even if you don't know, you know, because you can't not experience it. We're all experiencing it every day. And the question is, are we aware of it? To knowingly experience it, to knowingly notice. So that's really what it is. Yes, we practice mindfulness, and that's good and necessary to get along skillfully and lovingly in the world. But also, or I should say, and also, turn around and notice the experiencer. And what's the, or who is experiencing? Yourself. That's you. Does that make sense? If you are not experiencing, or haven't experienced the awareness that you are, then you automatically are focused that way. The world according to, what was it? The world according to Garp or something like that. It's the world according to me. However we define ourselves. Notice, no, turn it around. Who is this me? And when you really not think about it, but dropping the thoughts and the ideas for the moment, becoming the newborn. What's there? Something that has no name, that is just spaciousness. So this is what his guru meant when he said, step back from your humanity. Okay, so again, I hope I made it really clear. It's not about denying our experience, denying or in any way demoting or diminishing our mindfulness experience. Is both noticing those things and stepping back. I love that here. I've forgotten. Ram Dass here calls it the curriculum of life. And I've heard him in another talk. He said, we're all in school. And he was talking about this stepping back and turning around and noticing the experience in yourself. He said, we're all in school to notice and really find out what you are, who you are, as the experiencer. He said, take the course. That was his advice. Take the course. That's your curriculum. Yeah. So this was the first point that Ram Dass spoke about. Second was love. And he also calls it compassion. And that is engaging in life through love. Through loving. Not as, this is such a hard one to talk about, because we usually think, I have to do better. Don't think I'm not such a loving person, or I could be nicer or kinder. We have all these self-critical views often. That's not the point. The point that he's making is that you are love. When you experience it from the point of view of the experiencer, the noticer, when you step back into your true nature, that's love. You don't have to work at it. And this is good, as what we do often. We talk about cultivating compassion and human kindness. This is really important, loving kindness. But there's something even more fundamental, because what that does, that cultivation, it taps into what you already are, the lovingness that you already are. And again, it's not a thought. It's not a quality that you have to think about and get better at. What it is about is unlearning. So we think we have to learn how to be more loving or more compassionate. No, what we need to do is to unlearn all the things that say, I'm limited this way and I'm limited that way. Of course we are. We're human beings. It doesn't matter. Go on. It doesn't matter. This is before all of that. You see? Touch into your true nature. So those are the two things. Number one, step back from your humanity. That's touching into your true nature. Number two, living your life as fully as it comes to you. However you experience or need to express love, do it. And that's it. It's just that simple. So it's both and. It's not either or. It's not just, and as Ram Dass made that clear, it's not about just stepping back into true nature, which indeed is impersonal. That's not a criticism, by the way. We hear it here as impersonal, cold. No, that is perfection. That is loving. They're all synonyms on that level of stepping back, because there are no words, it's boundless. So that's it, stepping back into what you truly are and live in love, both. So that's what Ram Dass has to say. Let me see if I had something else more that I wanted to say. Oh, the title of this little video was How to Keep Your Heart Open in Hell. And I'd like to say, yes, what these 2 pointers are about is keeping your heart open in hell. And many of us would agree if we wouldn't call it hell, we call these times really hard. But it's also how to keep your heart open wherever and whenever. These are universal, timeless. So it doesn't have to only be keeping your heart open in hell, it's keeping your heart open always. Oh, I know. So I wanted to finish with a quote. This is from a book, and it's referring to our present times by Joan Tollefson, and it's called Death, the End of Self-Improvement. Yeah, and I recommend it strongly. Yeah, okay. And it's a tough book. Let me just say, took her a lot of courage. So here's what she said. She said, "May we meet this Kali Yuga," and the Kali Yuga is from ancient Hindu understanding. A yuga is an age of thousands and thousands, an epoch. Let's just say it's an epoch. And I won't go through, I'm not qualified to go through the whole thing because I don't know the whole thing, but I will say they're understood that there are ages that are of human existence that are ascending, getting better and better, and those that are, maybe there's stabilization, I'm not sure, but they're descending ages. The Kali Yuga is understood as a descending age. Okay, I say that only to make clear what Joan Tollefson has said. May we meet this Kali Yuga, this planetary time of darkness and collapse, with an open heart, with tenderness, with love for all beings, with joy and not despair. May we discover the holy reality everywhere, and every breath, in every moment, even in the pain and the darkness. Do you notice she's saying exactly what Ram Dass said? Same thing. Always and ever. This is it. So, thank you, friends.